Hello, this is Irma Baker welcoming you to our show. We're sponsored by RSVP, the Retired Senior Volunteer Program, and RSVP is a part of Mature Services. We like to think of our show like a kaleidoscope, that we're providing you with an ever-changing array of interesting organizations, individuals, and activities in our viewing area. We'll be back with today's guest right after these messages.
RSVP of Summit County has been making a difference in our community since 1972. RSVP volunteers are increasing the quality of life by participating in programs and organizations that provide important services to the community. RSVP matches personal interests and skills with opportunities to serve. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.
Welcome back. Our guest today is George Costas, and George is a volunteer ambassador for a program called Road Scholar. Now, you may have known that under another name. Tell us a little bit, George, about how the organization began and what its perhaps more familiar name is.
It actually started in 1975, but just prior to that, somebody by the name of Marty Knowlton, who was a professor of some sort, went to Europe, and he backpacked for 4 years and stayed at youth hostels. So he came back in 1975 and started a similar program for senior citizens, let's say 55 and older. And at that time, they called it Elder Hostel Program. And it was only, of course, at first when they started, they had it, he's from the Boston area, so they had several programs at several states up in New England, and then actually they stayed at schools, universities, and what have you. And from there on, it grew substantially. So that's how it started, and now it's much different than it started.
Well, much different than it started. It actually has another name now, because now you're called Road Scholar.
Yes. 2 years ago this June, they changed it to Road Scholar because Elder Hostel was sort of a misnomer, okay? And and then, like I say, now, if I may tell you, that right now they have like 8,000 programs a year. They've got every state in the union, and they have it at 150 states, or 150 countries, but every state in the union.
So you're around the world with Road Scholar.
Yes.
And you said it's very different. How is it different? You know, when I think of Elder Hostel and people I know who went on Elder Hostel trips, they sounded wonderful then, and now it's even better than it ever was.
They're phenomenal in a lot of ways. In the U.S., they have, like I said, every state, and they're usually 6 days. And they could be less, but 6 days. And you have maybe 3 programs, and you have professors. Those programs are a little different than the ones overseas, but what it happens is you have lectures from professors or professional people, and then one day or one half day you'll take a side trip somewhere, wherever you're at. In Europe, you're actually traveling around from country to country. It could be just one country, it could be many countries, okay? And there you're moving around, and you could be going by bus, by train, sometimes you fly, and you get lectures in, let's say, in the hotels possibly, or on a bus, or on a train, or actually when you go to these various sites, they'll give you a lecture. So it's basically known as a very strong educational program, but you see a lot and learn a lot.
The name Road Scholar just seems to perfectly describe what you do. You're on the road, and yet it is, as you say, an educational, a scholarly type of program.
Yes, now the name is very appropriate. You know, before it was not, and people misunderstood it.
Yeah, I think people might have thought that, oh, you're going to stay in tents out in the wild somewhere.
Absolutely.
But that's really not what it's like,
no,
is it?
No. You know, what I can tell you is I've been going to them for 15 years, and at first, the accommodations were always good, but they were sort of not the best originally. Now you go and stay in 4- and 5-star hotels. So, you know, and it's changed a lot. And let me say this, it's a nonprofit organization, okay? And because it's nonprofit, you don't pay taxes, Okay, so the individual that does not get stuck with that extra, taxes. Also, since it's not profit, they don't stick it with a profit, and considering it's an educational program, they get good prices because of that.
Well, it sounds like a bargain all the way around.
It is. I have traveled quite a bit before I started this program, and with different organizations. And so when I started going this program, I have compared the prices for what you get, and it's a lot better. On these, let's say in the U.S., as I said, they're usually 5 or 6 days. However, you got to find your way down there. Overseas, they'll prepare or plan the flight from, like, if you go to Europe, from New York or Atlantic City or whatever, and it's all in one price. However, they also have a Road Scholar travel service, and they'll take care of all your travel, and also they'll take care of a travel, like, say, from Cleveland to New York or whatever. And usually my feeling is all the prices are even reasonable, even the ones you go from Cleveland to wherever you're going, or Cleveland to San Francisco or whatever.
It sounds like they've taken care of everything, that basically you're not going to have any surprise expenses along the way, just what you choose to buy, like in souvenirs or things like that.
Yes, well, I'm glad you brought that up. But anyhow, what they did for recently, they might not include 1 or 2 lunches or dinners. Before it was everything. The reason for it is to let you walk around and see the environment or whatever, so you can be on your own. And I've had some good experiences doing that. So yeah, and let's see, another question you mentioned.
Well, I was wondering about some of the trips you've been on.
Well,
you brought some souvenirs along.
Yeah, well, I have been, well, actually I've been to, in South America. I was in Argentina, Chile, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Belize, Honduras, Guatemala. I've been to China. I've been to India. I've been to all over Europe, almost every country. And one place that I kind of really appreciate, I even have a picture here, that's, I took a Mediterranean cruise. Now, I've been on a number of cruises, but this one stopped at an island that my mother and father are from, called Samos, which is 2 miles away from Turkey. And we went to different villages, and we went to a village called Pythagoras. Pythagoras is the great mathematician, philosopher, and whatever. He was born and raised there, and my mother was born and raised there. I lived there for 3 years. I was born in America, but I've been there 6 times. That was phenomenal. And also, what I enjoyed a lot is went from Ankara to Istanbul, and we went up through where Apostle Paul went through, and he went to Ephesus. I don't know if you know what that means, but he was there 3 times, and I was there 3 times. And Ephesus is in the Bible, Ephesians, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, if somebody wants to get information about Road Scholar, how do they find out? Yeah, I mean, you said there are 8,000 programs.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's all year round, and that includes everything in the U.S. and Europe and other things, even intergenerational programs, which is for, let's say, grandparents taking their grandkids. Okay, that's another program. And so they have, well, first of all, you have to get on the mailing list. And I think you have the toll-free number?
Yes, we'll have the toll-free number on the screen.
They have a toll-free number, and also an internet number, or the
website?
There's a website number, yes. And actually, when you call, they can put you on a mailing list. And you get 4 domestic catalogs a year, you get 4 international catalogs a year, you get 4 afloat, which is cruises and small boats. And so you can do that by, and also if you go to the internet, you can get all kinds of programs. You can even sign up for them through internet. But the best way, which I do, is just call them, and they schedule all by phone.
Is there a live person that you talk to when you schedule?
Yes, absolutely. And they're very accommodating. Really, they're way out. I find, that for me, I had to call them this morning I had to put somebody on the mailing list and ask for a couple, and they were so accommodating. I'm so pleased.
It's nice to hear that there are organizations that actually talk to the caller.
They'll tell you anything you want to know.
Well, Speaking of anything you want to know, what should people know if they're sitting out here watching us today? What should they know about getting involved with Road Scholar?
Well, first of all, the best way is when you look at these catalogs, they have all kinds of programs and details of the programs. You can choose from that, and then you can make a toll-free number call and get scheduled. And they usually have them, like if you get a catalog, maybe they're good for 6 months, maybe just 4, and you could decide. Like, for example, I'm going away a little later on, I'm going away to Istanbul and a cruise up and down the Black Sea. I made those arrangements last October because sometimes they fill up and you might get on a wait list, and that's why I usually, as soon as I know what I want to do, that's what I do. And I usually take at least 1, maybe 2 of these kind of trips a year.
What are some of the other places that you've been with Road Scholar?
Well, as I said earlier, I did one in Turkey. I did the Passion Play in Germany, where it started in Munich, and then I don't know if you've heard of Passion Play, but they have it in Oberammergau, and they have it every 10 years, and they started back in the 1700s, and I've gone there. Then they took us over to Salzburg, where Mozart did it, where he was born and raised and whatever. That's one of the trips I've taken. Of course, I took a regular tour of the mainland of Greece, which was phenomenal. And of course, I speak Greek, so and also several island cruises. And
well, you brought along a couple souvenirs.
Oh yes.
Well, which trips were those from?
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate this one. This is the statue of Jesus Christ, and it's in Rio de Janeiro. And it was way up in a mountain, and it took 3 trains to go up there. You get on, and you could almost touch the bottom. That's about it. But I was so impressed with it, so I bought a bunch of them for my family, and I got one for myself. That was very impressive. The other thing is Nephrodite. I was in Cairo, Egypt, and I really appreciated that. Nephrodite, she was a queen from way back, and what was real impressive, when I went to India, the most impressive thing in India was Taj Mahal, and this is Taj Mahal. I just enjoyed it so much that I enjoy every trip because, well, it's educational, number one. And people don't know this, but I do because I read about it. Travel is very healthy. Why? Because you get excited about planning it, you learn things, you keep the mind going, and then you can't wait until you go, and then you learn a lot. And I've always said half these trips is meeting nice people and sort of talking about your programs and there. I've had some very good experiences with other people, and since I've been so many programs, I know a lot. When I run into people that's only been to 1 or 2, I kind of try to give them a lot of good information, and they're very pleased with that.
That's a very good point. If somebody is out there saying, "Ooh, I've never gone on a trip like this, I'll be all by myself," and that, what you're saying is that these are group trips, and there are people who have been through the experience before and will be a help.
Yes, glad you said that. You know why? Because I've been a widower for 9 years, and I go by myself. I feel very comfortable. That was a good situation there. And I remember when my wife first passed, I was kind of a little stressed out, and I met some people, and they says, wherever they went, they says, come with us. And you usually have all your meals together, so you meet people. As a widower, I feel very comfortable being with other people. There are a few single men and a few more single ladies that are maybe probably widows and widowers, but they all fit in very nicely and comfortable.
Well, you mentioned meals. What about the food?
The food, that's a very good question. The food is really very good, very good. And they'll accommodate vegetarians, okay? And if they have certain thing for food, a certain item that's not, you don't like it, they'll provide you with whatever is good for you. Most of the time, it's the same thing. A lot of times, like when I went to Brazil, a lot of the meals were buffet, so you can pick what you want. Incidentally, all your breakfast, every trip I've taken are buffets, so you can pick and choose what you want.
Oh, that makes it very comfortable.
Yes.
You know you're going to be able to have something
Yes.
that you will enjoy and be
and
able
the food
to
is
eat.
good, but they will accommodate you if you can't eat certain kinds of food.
Oh, that's wonderful. It sounds like they've thought of everything for the older traveler.
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. As I said, I've done a lot of trips before with different organizations, and I enjoyed them. But once I picked up on here, this is the best thing for me, especially as you get older, and especially as a widower and all that kind of, I keep saying it, but it just, I feel so comfortable.
Well, you know, we've talked quite a bit now about international travel, but you don't have to go too far from home to be part of the program, do you?
Oh, no. In fact, I was going to say, if you've never really traveled overseas, it's good to take a domestic travel. You know, like, for example, one time we were invited to a wedding in Orlando. We're going to stay there for 3 days, but so we were able to get go to at that time it was Elder Hostel Road Scholar nearby, and it was all about the history of Hitler, the history of the World War II, and then a musician that told us how music was affected during World War II. And another one that I liked very much, I'm sorry, but we were in San Francisco, and we went to one there that was all about first ladies. That was phenomenal. I found out, I'm sorry I got to say this, about half the presidents have had affairs, according to what I learned at this program.
You pick up so many interesting
Yes,
bits
yes.
of trivia and
Yes.
history. Let's face it, in school, either you're not interested enough to remember
Right,
everything
right.
you're taught,
Yes.
or there just isn't time to cover
There
everything.
isn't time, you're right.
Well, what about right here in our own area? Do we have to take overnight trips or faraway trips, or are there trips that are like day trips right around locally?
Well, you don't have a whole lot here. A lot of the programs are in Southern Ohio. However, I've gone to a few here where they were like day of discovery, one full day, and there were several of them in Youngstown, and one of them was about Franklin Roosevelt's wife, and she was phenomenal. I never knew this, but she was so good behind the scenes, and I think that she was around with the UN and all that kind of, and they used her for that, and she was just phenomenal. And I learned about it at that time, and then there's a few, not a lot, but there are one-day programs, and I went to another one which was all about the news media. It was one day, and one was all about Mount Rushmore, the program. It was in the Youngstown, Ohio area. And there you learn why the presidents were included in Mount Rushmore. You learn something that I never knew. And I've seen Mount Rushmore years ago, but now I know why they placed those various presidents up there. They were well known at the time.
Well, you are obviously very interested in learning, and the program
Oh, yeah.
itself is about learning. It
Yes.
is combining travel
Yes.
and learning.
Yes, absolutely.
That kind of excitement,
Yeah.
are you unusual, or is this the kind of people that, are you representative of the people you'd meet on a
I would
Rhodes
say
Scholar
I,
trip?
for the most part, represent the people that I go with. I get a little excited maybe, but all of them like travel, they like learning, and the prices are very reasonable. If you put it all together, it's phenomenal.
Now, for somebody who is just starting out, really sounds like these day trips, these days of discovery, are a good way to get your feet wet, especially if maybe you haven't done much traveling. And when you go on a trip like that, is that something where you need to get in the car and go to the place, or do they provide transportation? How does that work?
Oh, in the U.S., you drive to wherever it's at. Drive or fly, depends, you know where you're going in the U.S. But like I said earlier, overseas, they'll provide all the travel, flights, whatever it takes. Yeah.
If you had to, oh no, if you had to, I'm going to ask you right now, what was your favorite trip?
Well, you know, that's really hard because every place you go is a little different, but I enjoyed Switzerland a lot, for example. Also, I enjoyed, I went to Moscow and St. Petersburg, that was phenomenal. And of course, being Greek, I enjoyed going to Greece, you know, because I also speak the language, and of course, the same religion and all that. It's hard because there's something about each place that's a little different. But where you go, you learn so much. Well, the scenery is phenomenal, the culture, the different food, and I find that most of the people, wherever you go now, are very friendly, and they know English because they're required to study English. You know, in other words, almost all countries, it's sort of a requirement for young people to learn English in class, and of course now they're grown. So you don't have a trouble with the language, no matter where you go.
I am so glad that you were able to come and visit with us today. And we're very glad that all of you could view our show today. And we have a special treat for you. George brought along a video that's going to take you around the world with Road Scholar. So thank you so much for viewing, and keep on watching the video here with us. We hope you enjoyed our show today and that you'll remember our sponsor, RSVP, Part of Mature Services. And RSVP offers adults 55 and older opportunities for volunteering in the local community as well as other activities. So please, for more information, call the number on your screen. And for all of us here, this is Irma Baker saying goodbye for now. Thank you.
For more than 35 years, millions of adults have learned, discovered, and traveled with Road Scholar. Each of our participants has their own adventure to tell and reason why Road Scholar is their choice for exploring the world.
Why do I love Road Scholar? It has helped me realize my best years are still to come.
In 1975, two friends came up with a revolutionary idea: provide adults with opportunities to learn and grow. They founded not-for-profit Elder Hostel. Today, under our Road Scholar program name, our participants enrich their lives and challenge their minds on our educational adventures in the United States and around the globe.
Why do I love Road Scholar? There's something really uplifting about being with people who want to learn about the world. Not just see the world, but understand it. Sitting on a beach is fine, but Road Scholar participants know there's so much more out there.
Road Scholar participants are the heart and soul of our unique adventures. They come from many backgrounds and have one thing in common: a love of learning. For couple or solo adventures alike, the warm and welcoming community formed on every Road Scholar program is the perfect environment to meet other curious and engaging people.
Why do I love Road Scholar? One word: inspirational.
Birding or Beethoven, studying the geology of the Grand Canyon, or the wildlife of the Galapagos Islands. Foreign affairs, baseball, biking, whatever you love to do or want to learn, chances are there's a Road Scholar adventure to fulfill your dream.
Why do I love Road Scholar? Everything's included in the cost of the program. I can leave my wallet at home.
Road Scholar's educational adventures include all the important elements, from expert-led lectures to field trips, and from accommodations to meals and gratuities. There are no hidden costs. We'll do the planning so you can relax and have a fulfilling experience. And as a not-for-profit organization, it's our mission to provide you with an enriching experience at a remarkable value.
I love getting the Road Scholar catalog in the mail and visiting the website. I'll read about the programs and imagine myself in some distant part of the world, meeting new people, seeing a piece of history, and immersing myself in experiences that are completely new.
Every day, there are Rhodes Scholar participants learning together somewhere in the world. Transiting the Panama Canal, teaching at a Navajo school, tracking the Big Five with a naturalist in Kenya, or studying theater in London's West End. Are you ready to join them? Sign up for our catalogs or visit www.rhodescholar.org and find the learning adventure you've been dreaming of.
Why do I love Rhodes Scholar? I love meeting people who are passionate about learning. After every program, I'm always inspired to learn more and find my next new adventure.
Since 1971, RSVP has been matching volunteers' talents to community needs. RSVP is affiliated with the Corporation for National and Community Service, a national organization that supports service and volunteering through grant-funded projects. Volunteers organize neighborhood watch programs, tutor children, renovate homes, plant community gardens, assist victims of natural disasters, and serve their communities in many other ways. RSVP offers maximum flexibility and choice to its volunteers as it matches the personal interests and skills of Americans 55 and older with opportunities to serve their communities. If you're interested in adding more meaning to your life and improving the lives of others, please call 330-253-4597, extension 166.
Distribution of this program has been made possible through the generous support of the Kaler Law Firm. At the Kaler Law Firm, attorney Jim Kaler helps seniors and veterans who need long-term care keep some of their life savings in the family. For more information, visit www.protectingseniors.com. The mission of the Kaler Law Firm is protecting a senior's life savings.